What happens when a hotel CEO trades his penthouse view for a laundry cart and a name tag, and finds his guests being charged for things that should have been free? Travis. Alan stood in the back of the hotel's service elevator, holding a stack of fresh towels. His back ached, his shirt clung to him with sweat, and he hadn't used his real name in 3 days. He glanced at his ID badge, Toby, Bellhop trainee. This was his 6th property. The hotel chain he'd built from scratch had grown too fast, maybe. 6 locations across 3 states in just under 4 years. But lately, complaints had started trickling in. Not many, just enough to make him uneasy, customers saying the vibe had changed. Employees were quitting without notice. A few guests mentioned one specific location, this one, but nothing concrete. So he shaved his beard, dyed his hair brown, and slipped into a uniform. No one here had ever met him. This branch opened during the pandemic, and his only contact had been through upper leadership. Travis had spent the last few days shadowing bellhops, folding towels, hauling luggage, and watching. Today, something felt off the second he walked into the lobby. "Hey, Toby," said Zadie Monroe, the front desk agent on duty. She was in her late 20s, sharp with a quick smile and real good at charming guests. "Go help Mr. Calhoun with his bags, yeah, room 419. Travis nodded and moved toward the man waiting near the elevators. The guest looked annoyed, holding a small paper in his hand. "She said the gym pass is $20 per day," the man asked. Travis blinked. "Sir, our gym access is supposed to be complimentary." "That's what I thought. I stayed at your Vegas location last year. Gym was free there." Travis kept his face neutral. "Let me help you with your bags." "I'll make sure someone sorts that out." The man grunted, still fuming. As they rode the elevator together, Travis felt a slow burn in his chest. He'd never allowed extra fees for basic amenities. It was a core value from the beginning: treat guests like humans, not wallets. After dropping off the bag, Travis headed back down and waited for Zadie to finish helping a couple check in. As the guests walked off, he stepped closer. "Hey, quick question," he said casually. "Do you know if the gym's $20 a day now?" Zadie didn't flinch. "Yeah, new policy last month." "Management said we needed to increase revenue." Travis tilted his head. "Which manager, Mr. Delgado?" "He said we're not hitting numbers. So we started charging for gym, pool towels, even early check-in. It's all on the rate sheet now." Travis kept his voice steady. "Those amenities used to be free," Zadie shrugged. "Well, they're not anymore." He turned and walked off, jaw clenched. Later that night, he found Jenna, the overnight housekeeper, folding linens in the back. She looked exhausted but smiled when she saw him. "You're still here?" she asked. "Yeah." "Long shift." "Welcome to my life," she laughed. "I've been doubling shifts all month. We're short 2 people. One quit last week and the other got fired for yelling at a guest. Front desk hasn't helped once. They're too busy with their upsells." "Upsells?" Jenna nodded. "Zadie charges for everything now, even towels for the pool. I gave a kid some extras the other day and Zadie told me not to undercut her." Travis's stomach turned. That night in the small break room, he sat alone, picking at a cold sandwich. His mind was racing. Zadie had been polite, polished, and completely wrong. Delgado, he'd never met him in person either. Hired during the company's expansion, recommended by a district manager who was no longer with the company, he needed to see Delgado himself. The next morning, Travis arrived an hour early. Delgado walked in 10 minutes later, a heavy-set man in his 40s with tired eyes and a Bluetooth earpiece clipped to his collar. He didn't recognize Travis, just nodded and walked past. Later, Travis saw him pull Zadie aside and talk in a low voice. She handed him a stack of small envelopes. He pocketed them without a word. Travis excused himself, stepped into a supply closet, and closed the door. He pressed his forehead against the wall. This wasn't just about a few extra fees. Something was off. He felt it in his gut. He had built this company to be different. Simple, honest, human. And now someone was squeezing money out of guests like it was a theme park. He took a deep breath, wiped his face, and stepped back out. The The bellhop uniform felt heavier than ever. Travis returned to the service hallway just past the loading dock, where the morning shipments sat stacked and half unloaded. He caught a glimpse of movement behind the crates. Lamar, the maintenance tech, pulling a mop bucket behind him. "Hey, you got a sec?" Travis asked, keeping his voice low. Lamar paused. "Yeah, what's up? You've been here a while, since opening week. Why?" "I'm trying to figure out how things really run here. You think the staff's treated right?" Lamar leaned on the mop handle. "Depends who you are. If Delgado likes you, you're golden. If not." He trailed off, then shook his head. "Let's just say he keeps a list, and folks on the wrong side of it. They get the worst shifts, no hours, or written up for nonsense." Travis nodded once. "You had issues?" Lamar scratched his chin. "I've been fine, I keep quiet. But the way he talks to some of the women here, I don't like it. Even said something once. Got pulled off my regular rotation the next day." Travis's jaw tightened. "Who specifically?" "Marable. She's on laundry, sweet as can be. Delgado used to call her slow just cause her English isn't perfect. Tried to make her clean the men's locker room solo. She asked for help and he said, 'Figure it out or go home.' She's been afraid to say anything since." Travis exhaled slowly. "Thanks, Lamar." "Seriously?" He turned and headed toward the elevator service entrance. He needed to see Delgado in action, not just hear about it. By mid-morning, Delgado was in the small conference room off the main lobby. Travis lingered outside with a clipboard, pretending to check inventory logs on the wall. The door was cracked open. Inside, Delgado sat across from a young woman in housekeeping uniform. Her posture was stiff, hands on her lap. "You were 5 minutes late again," Delgado said flatly. "I ran from the bus," she replied, barely above a whisper. "Not my problem." "You want to keep your hours, you show up on time. We don't hand out charity here." "I've never been late before," she added. "Just this once." Delgado leaned back. "And I've never fired anyone for one thing, but you're on thin ice now." Travis turned and walked away, fists clenched. He hadn't built this company to be ruled by fear. And now it was clear Delgado wasn't just mismanaging policy. He was actively creating a hostile environment. He needed more. That afternoon, Travis signed up to help restock minibar items on the upper floors. It gave him access to rooms and let him observe how housekeeping was treated without interference. Outside room 812, he found Marable on her knees, scrubbing the bathroom tile with a handheld brush that was clearly meant for countertops. "You don't have a floor mop?" he asked. Marable looked up, startled. "We ran out. Old ones broke. Manager said orders delayed." "How long you been doing it like this?" 3 weeks, he crouched beside her. "You okay?" She hesitated, then nodded, but her eyes were red. "Just tired." "Do you get breaks?" 15 minutes. "But only if we finish 2 floors first." Travis stood, heart pounding. This wasn't poor management anymore, it was abuse. Systematic, calculated, and sanctioned by Delgado. Down in the laundry room, he found a clipboard pinned to the wall. Towel usage vs. guest charges. Handwritten notes tracked how many pool towels were handed out by housekeeping and how many were reported by front desk. The numbers didn't match. Next to the log, a sticky note. "Short again. Make sure you count towels before giving guests extras. We need to recoup costs." Travis stepped back. That confirmed it. Guests were being charged for things they weren't even receiving. Delgado was inventing overages and pressuring the team to justify them. At shift change, Travis found Zadie again, this time sitting behind the front desk with her shoes off, scrolling through her phone. She didn't notice him until he stood directly across from her. "Slow night?" he asked. She laughed. "Dead. We had a couple walk-ins earlier. I put them on the last room rate, made an extra 100 off that." He raised an eyebrow. "Aren't walk-ins supposed to get the standard rate?" "Not when we're almost full." She did air quotes. "Delgado taught me that. Always keep 2 rooms unavailable on the system. That way you can pretend you're nearly booked. People pay more when they think they're lucky to get a room." "You ever feel weird about charging people for towels, Jim? Stuff like that?" Zadie shrugged. "Not really, they can afford it, and it's not like we're lying. It's all listed. If they don't read the fine print, that's on them." Travis kept his tone neutral. What about the employees? You think they're being treated fair? She didn't even look up. They get paid, we all do. It's not forever, most of them won't be here in a year anyway. That was the last straw. The next morning, Travis arrived in a clean suit. No bellhop badge, no clipboard, just a quiet determination. He waited until Delgado emerged from his office, coffee in hand, chatting with Zadie. "Mr. Delgado," Travis said calmly. Delgado looked up, puzzled. "Do I know you?" Travis extended a hand. "Travis Allen, I own this place." Delgado froze. Zadie's jaw dropped. "I've been working here all week. Undercover," Travis said. "I've seen how you run this hotel, and it ends today." Delgado tried to laugh. "Wait, this is a misunderstanding." "I've been following corporate—" "No, you haven't," Travis interrupted. "You've created fake surcharges, pressured staff into unethical behavior, and treated my employees like they're disposable." Zadie stepped back. "I didn't know you did," Travis said firmly. "You enforced it. You profited from it." Delgado's face darkened. "You can't just— You're done," Travis said. "Security will escort you both out. I'll have HR contact you for the formal process." He turned and signaled to the operations supervisor, Michelle, who had arrived minutes earlier after a cryptic message from Travis. She'd been with the company since the second hotel opened, trusted, steady. She didn't ask questions, just nodded and picked up the phone. As Delgado and Zadie were led out, the lobby fell into a tense silence. Travis looked around at the few employees nearby, housekeeping staff, a server from the cafe, the night auditor, all staring. "You're not in trouble," he said. "But things are going to change." Later that day, Travis called a full staff meeting in the break room. He stood at the front, in the same spot where Delgado had once berated a housekeeper for being 5 minutes late. "I built this company with one goal," he began. "To treat people better than any other brand out there, not just guests, you, the ones who keep this place running." No one interrupted. "We lost sight of that here, that's my fault. I wasn't watching close enough, but I'm here now." He laid out the new policies. All surcharges on basic amenities were gone, effective immediately. The towel tracking program was scrapped. Housekeeping would receive new equipment by the end of the week, and anyone who had been written up under Delgado's tenure would have their file reviewed. Then he turned to Marable near the back. "You should never have been punished for asking for help," he said. "Thank you for staying when others would have walked out. You've just been promoted to housekeeping supervisor. A raise is coming with it." The room broke into quiet applause. He turned to Lamar. "You spoke up when it wasn't safe to, that matters. We'll be meeting next week to discuss safety protocols. I want your input." Travis didn't promise miracles. He didn't pretend everything would be perfect overnight, but he promised presence, accountability. And that from now on, no employee would be invisible. When the meeting ended, people lingered. They asked questions. They shared ideas. They spoke to him, not to a title, but to a person. As Travis walked back through the lobby, a guest approached him. "Hey," the man said. "I stayed here last month. This place feels different." Travis smiled. "We're working on that." Travis arrived 2 hours before sunrise the next morning, dressed down again but no longer undercover. His name badge now read Owner on Site. He didn't wear a suit, just a black company fleece and dark jeans. It wasn't about making a statement, it was about being in the same uniform as the people who kept the place running. The night auditor, Cale, was still behind the front desk, rubbing his eyes and typing slowly. The lobby was silent except for the low hum of the HVAC. "You been here all night?" Travis asked. Cale looked up, startled. "Yeah, I didn't know you were still here." "I never left," Cale blinked. "Haven't seen that before." Travis rested his elbows on the counter. "Anyone relieve you yet?" Cale shook his head. "No, day shift's supposed to be here in 20. "You've worked how many nights this week?" "This is my 6th. They had someone quit last Friday and no one's filled the slot." Travis nodded once, then stepped around the desk and motioned for him to sit. "You're not staying late today," Travis said. "Clock out when your shift ends, go home, sleep, you've earned it." Cale hesitated, then sat down slowly. "I'll cover until the next person arrives," Travis added. You just show me how to print the breakfast vouchers. By 6:30, Michelle arrived carrying a clipboard and a thermos. She paused when she saw Travis behind the desk. "You're serious about this," she said. "Every bit of it." She leaned against the counter. "We've got some fallout to manage." Delgado kept everything close to the chest. No one else knows half of what he was doing, but the staff's been talking since yesterday. People are nervous. "They should be," Travis said. "But not about their jobs, just about what comes next and how we fix it," Michelle nodded. "Good, because Maribel asked for a meeting with you," Travis straightened. "When? She's here now." She came early. Travis stepped into the back office and found her standing just inside the doorway, holding a folded piece of paper. "I didn't want to interrupt," she said quickly. "You're not." He gestured to the chair. "Please." She sat but didn't unfold the paper. "I've worked in hotels since I was 17, she began. "Mostly laundry and housekeeping. I don't complain, I don't miss shifts, I work hard. But I never had anyone ask me if I was okay until you did." Travis said nothing. "I didn't say anything before because I thought that was normal. Getting yelled at, being told to work harder or go home, I thought it was just how it was." "It's not," Travis said. She finally placed the folded page on the desk and slid it to him. "This is a list of everyone who left in the past year. I wrote down their names, I remember them all. Some didn't even say goodbye, they just stopped showing up." He picked it up and scanned the names. There were 22. Maribel stood. "I just thought you should know." "I do now. And I won't forget." By 8, Travis made his way back to the staff kitchen, where Lamar was fixing the coffee machine with a screwdriver and one knee on a cleaning rag. Travis crouched beside him. "I heard you used to run maintenance at the downtown property. Before they moved me here, yeah." Delgado said this place needed more discipline. "You want to go back?" Lamar paused. "No, I like the crew here, they just need someone to have their back." "You up for helping me restructure the facility's schedule? I want you leading it." Lamar smiled faintly. "Only if we get a second tech." "This place is too big for one person." "Done," Travis said. "Start drafting what we need." By mid-morning, Travis gathered the remaining supervisors in the small meeting room. Michelle stood at the whiteboard, jotting down notes as Travis laid out the plan. "I need eyes on everything," he said. "Not just reports, not just numbers. Real feedback. I want rotation logs for every department by next week, and I want every employee to know who they can talk to when something isn't right." Tasha, the cafe supervisor, spoke up. "What about hiring?" "We've been running short since winter." "We'll reopen hiring this week," Michelle said, "but we're revising the job descriptions. No more flexible roles where we stretch one person across 3 jobs." Travis turned to her. "And we're increasing starting pay. Not a huge jump, but enough to show we're serious. I'll absorb the margin hit." "Where's that coming from?" asked Ron, the security lead. "I'm cutting back corporate travel. We don't need quarterly retreats. What we need is a functioning team." The room went quiet, then nods. Later that afternoon, Travis found Cale in the lounge, sipping coffee with his coat on his lap. He looked better, less pale, more alert. "I've got someone flying in from Phoenix," Travis said. "She used to be front desk lead there. I want her here to stabilize the desk team. You'd be her second." "Interested?" Cale raised an eyebrow. "You sure? You stayed overnight 6 days in a row. You didn't cut corners. You didn't complain." Cale nodded once. "Then yeah, I'm in." At 5, Travis walked the floor again. He didn't ask questions. He just watched. The way Tasher ran the cafe with quiet efficiency. The way the new housekeeper, Lena, double-checked room carts even though no one asked her to. The way Lamar held the door open for a guest carrying a sleeping toddler. It was working slowly. But it wasn't fixed, not yet. Just as he turned the corner near the service elevator, he heard raised voices from the hallway. He followed them to the staff locker area, where a sharply dressed man in a navy jacket had backed a younger employee against the lockers. "You people never learn," the man said. "You think just because someone new's in charge, the rules don't apply." The young man, probably no older than 19, stood frozen, eyes wide. Travis stepped in. "What's going on?" The man turned. Who are you, Travis Allen, owner? The man's face shifted. I was just correcting some behavior. I saw what you said. You don't speak to anyone like that, ever. He was late. I don't care. Travis turned to the employee. You okay? He nodded slowly. Travis looked back at the man. You're done here, right now. Get your things. You're making a mistake, the man snapped. No, Travis said quietly. I'm correcting one. Security arrived minutes later. The man didn't fight it. He just muttered under his breath and walked out. After the door shut, Travis turned back to the employee. What's your name, Illy? He said. I was supposed to start laundry at 4. My bus was delayed. I called, but no one picked up. You did the right thing, Travis said, and you still showed up. That matters more than being on the dot. Illy exhaled, tension slipping from his shoulders. Go clock in, Travis said. We've got your back now. That night, Travis pulled into the parking lot long after most had gone home. He sat in the driver's seat, watching the glow of the lobby through the front glass. Buildings didn't make a company. Policies didn't create culture. People did. And for the first time in a long time, he felt like he was part of his own team again. 3 weeks later, the hotel was quieter, but not because business had slowed. The tone had shifted. People still moved fast, still pushed carts and answered phones and refilled coffee stations, but they did it with less tension in their shoulders. There were fewer glances over shoulders, fewer hushed apologies for asking simple questions. Travis walked the back corridor with a notepad in hand, not as a formality, but to track decisions in real time. The morning team was halfway through their shifts, and he'd committed to spending each day with a different department. Today was laundry. He found Marable in the basement room standing beside a new industrial press. The old folding tables had been replaced. The cracked tile had been regrouted. The fluorescent lights no longer buzzed overhead. You get a chance to test it yet? Travis asked, nodding toward the machine. Marable looked up from the control panel. Just finished the first batch. It cuts my folding time by half. You think it's stable? Very. We needed it months ago. Travis scratched a quick note. I want to order a second one. Might as well catch up properly. Marable hesitated. You sure? We're still short on staffing. I know. The second unit's for the evening crew. We've got a new hire starting Friday. She'll need something efficient to train on. Marable's eyes flicked toward the old cart in the corner. Then we'll be ready. Upstairs, in the cafe, Tasha was reviewing the morning receipts with a new cashier. Travis stayed back, leaning near the entrance, watching the way she explained the register system, not rushed, not condescending. The cashier asked something about discount codes, and Tasha tapped the screen, walking her through it. When she noticed him, she waved him over. She's catching on quick, Tasha said, but we're still short one person on weekends. I've got 2 interviews lined up for tomorrow, Travis replied. If neither works out, I'll cover the shift myself. Tasha gave him a flat look. You're not trained on our espresso machine, so put me on dishes, he said. I can learn, she laughed, but it wasn't mocking. Fair enough. Travis stepped back into the lobby just as Michelle approached from the elevator, tablet in hand and her expression tight. We've got a situation, she said, voice low. Where? Room 603, guest called down. Said housekeeping walked in without knocking. Who was assigned to that floor? Michelle flipped the screen. Illy? Travis frowned. He's never been careless. That's why I checked the logs. He wasn't on that floor. Someone else swapped assignments. Who? New guy, Marco. Hired 2 days ago. Said he had hotel experience. I've already pulled him into the office. Travis followed her through the back corridor. Marco sat in the corner, arms crossed, looking bored. You know why you're here? Travis asked, stepping inside. Marco shrugged. I cleaned the room. What's the big deal? You entered a guest room without knocking. She wasn't even in the room. She came out of the bathroom after. Travis didn't move. That's not the point. Marco rolled his eyes. It's not like I touched anything. People overreact. Michelle stood silently, arms folded. You also weren't assigned to that floor, Travis said. You made that change yourself. Marco leaned back. It was faster. I've done this before. You're micromanaging. No, Travis said evenly. I'm protecting our guests' privacy. You violated that. And you're not taking responsibility. Marco stood abruptly. All this over one mistake. You're going to fire me for that, Travis nodded once. Yes, I am. Marco scoffed, grabbed his bag, and walked out without another word. When the door closed, Michelle exhaled. He was trouble the moment he walked in. No second chances for that, Travis said. Not when it involves trust. Later that afternoon, Travis met Lamar in the boiler room. They were still operating on half a crew, and the water pressure in the south wing showers had dropped. I can patch it for now, Lamar said, wiping his hands on a rag. But we need a new pump. This one's been limping for months. Do the numbers, I'll approve it. Lamar raised an eyebrow. Just like that? We're not gambling with comfort. If you say it's time, then it's time. As Travis turned to leave, Lamar called after him. You ever think about why Delgado got through the door in the first place? Travis paused. Every day, Lamar nodded. Then maybe next time we ask the people already here before hiring someone to run them. Travis continued down the hall, thinking about that. The next morning, he stood in front of a small group in the break room. No projector, no charts, just eye contact. I've made changes the last few weeks, he began. But now I want to make something permanent. The room was quiet. We're building an employee advisory board, one person from each department. You'll meet with me directly every month, no filters. You'll tell me what's working, what's not, and what we need to fix. A few glances exchanged across the room. This isn't symbolic, he continued. You'll have real say and I'll listen. We're not going to lose sight again, not while I'm still walking these halls. He stepped back. I'm not asking for perfection, just honesty and commitment. Marable raised her hand. Who chooses the reps? You do, Travis said. Each department votes, no managers involved. Tasha leaned forward. What if someone just wants the title? Then they won't last, Travis said. And we'll vote again. By that weekend, the board was formed. It wasn't flashy, no one wore pins. But when they met in the upstairs lounge for the first time, they brought notes. Real concerns. Real ideas. Travis didn't speak much that first meeting, he just listened. When it ended, Illy lingered behind. I keep thinking about something, he said. When Delgado was here, I started dreading coming in, not because of the work, just the way we were treated. Travis waited. I thought I'd give it another couple weeks, then quit. But I didn't. Why not? Illy looked up. Because you asked my name, no one had done that before. Travis nodded once. Then I'm glad I did. That night, Travis walked the upper hallway alone. Room lights glowed softly behind closed doors. Somewhere, a vacuum hummed faintly. The rhythm of the place had returned. He passed the staff entrance just as Cale stepped out with a receipt book in hand. Front desk printer jammed again, Cale said. I was going to fix it. I'll walk with you, Travis said. They moved toward the lobby together, past the quiet hum of conversation in the cafe, past the display of fresh towels at the guest pool entrance, no price tags, no warnings about limits. Just clean, folded cotton. As they reached the desk, Cale glanced sideways. You're not going back to corporate, are you? Not anytime soon, Travis said. Cale nodded. Good, it's better when you're here. Travis smiled faintly, then reached over and opened the printer tray. Let's fix this thing. And together, under the soft lobby lights, they did.